Hello, everyone, and good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. Thank you for tuning in to our special webinar this morning. My name is Farid Nordin. I'm the Marketing and Alumni Relations Manager for the Faculty of Business at Athabasca University. With me today, I have Shelley Elsliger, who is our actually the coach and trainer for LinkedIn Express. So before we start, I'd like to make sure that you can hear me okay and that you can see the visual on your screen, on your computer. So if you can hear me okay, just type in a few words in the question box on your screen and we can get started. All right, thank you, Mark, for your comments. Thank you. Great, Tim, thanks a lot for your remarks. Thanks, Wes. All right, wonderful. Great, so we have a great audience this morning. And a bit of housekeeping rules. It is a 1-hour webinar we have today. And so any questions you have, please put in the question box on your screen, as you can see, and we'll try to answer as many questions as we can. We have quite a full house today, so we'll try to do our best to answer your questions. So before we begin, and before I pass this presentation to Shelley, I'd like to find out from you who are listening right now, how many of you are with Athabasca University and what your current status is with us. So if you can take like maybe half a second to answer the poll that I just launched, that'd be great. Okay, wonderful. So while the poll's still happening, I'm just going to do a brief introduction about Shelley. So Shelley has more than 15 years in career coaching. I knew Shelley when I went to John Molson School of Business in Montreal a couple of years ago. So Shelley has helped me tremendously with my LinkedIn profile. And currently, Shelley is with Rotman School of Business at U of T as a career coach, LinkedIn lead, and trainer. Apart from that, Shelley has given lots of talks and published a bunch of great articles about LinkedIn, about career coaching. And if that's not busy enough for Shelley, she also has her own consulting practice, which is LinkedIn Express. So with that, I'm going to pass this presentation to Shelley, and we can get going. Thank you for those who just answered the questions and the poll. The poll will be closed now. All right, with that, Shelley, I'm going to give you your control of the presentation, and you should be all set to go, Shelley.
Okay, good morning, everybody. But Farid, I don't have it on. It's not on my screen.
Okay. Let me see something.
The presentation is not on my screen.
How about now, Shelley? Oh, no, hold on.
Okay.
Is it okay now?
Did you give me control?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, go back one, yeah, agenda. Perfect. Here we go. There's a bit slow. There's a bit of a lag, yeah. So, all right, we're good now.
Okay, perfect. Good morning, everybody. Really happy to be doing this webinar with you all on LinkedIn success, the power of social influence. Today we'll be covering the key components of making your profile search ready and brand proofed. We'll also talk about search tips and strategies, a bit about job search, and obviously just a few comments on netiquette and business applications. And actually I'll be going through that, the number 4, as we go through the webinar. So what about LinkedIn? And why are we on LinkedIn? I want to demystify right away why we have to use LinkedIn, because a lot of people will say, well, I don't need LinkedIn because I'm not looking for a job. And we have to remember that LinkedIn is available for a variety of purposes, not just to find a job, but to network. And we should really be continuously building our networks offline and online. We have no choice to go online and build those people pods that we need. But actually, LinkedIn, when it was built in several years ago by Reid Hoffman, in 2003, there were many reasons that he brought LinkedIn to the table so that people could actually improve their online presence and have online real estate for themselves. So what's the point of having LinkedIn? Well, there are several reasons. Networking, reconnecting, showing that you're confident about your own story, positioning, where are you and what do you have to offer, vetting. Employers and recruiters are looking to have your profile vetted all the time for people to be introducing you, for you to be there if they are actually looking to hire somebody. 94% of employers are on LinkedIn, using LinkedIn to search candidates out. Research. There's a tremendous amount of research that you can use on LinkedIn and do on LinkedIn because it's an incredible tool. We have over 3 million company pages that are growing every day, and that's where a lot of companies put the information, and it also connects to any employers or past employers that work or have worked for that company. Job seeking, it's on the dashboard, and in 2015, a little bit in 2014, LinkedIn decided that it was going to really put an emphasis on two things: networking for jobs and also the way we interact on LinkedIn. So there's been a little bit of a shift, the creation of mobile services and the ability to actually look at LinkedIn from the eyes of a recruiter. And I will be talking about that a little bit later. And marketing. Marketing more for self-branding and self-marketing, but also if you have a company, you belong to a business or an organization, LinkedIn is the place to be because it is, in fact, the only professional network. It's the only one that is considered professional and actually has professional tied to its name. So just to give you a rundown what LinkedIn actually has attached to it, it's a form of communication. It's really your story. So if in the past you've basically you've taken your resume and cut and paste your resume, then you know that you've done it wrong because LinkedIn is really a holistic approach, and it's also based on your story. So everything that you have to offer. That's why employers, recruiters actually really like to go to LinkedIn because they get to see more of you than a one-page resume, which is often considered to be the tool that we use every day. Nobody's saying that we're going to get rid of the resume, but before they even ask for that, they're actually going to see you as a whole and what you have to offer. And culture is becoming definitely more important, and there's almost like a sense of urgency to know if people actually fit with the organization, because employers don't want to take that time. And they don't want to, I guess, screw up in the sense that getting somebody hired just to have them not go through the probation and to actually become part of their company. So there's the communications, there's search. You can find out news and what's happening in the world. Content is in relation to you, your story. Connections, networks allow you to build people who you can find as useful people in your people pod. So it doesn't necessarily mean of a certain type. It means anybody who could actually introduce you to somebody. It could be somebody that could give you advice, somebody you could have a coffee chat with, someone that could actually be helpful in helping you to develop your career. LinkedIn is all about professional development and advancement. It's a place to show your credibility through recommendations and endorsements, your expertise, your popularity in a good way. Who are you connected to and how are you building that on a consistent basis? visuals. You can actually almost create a portfolio on LinkedIn, and people are attracted by visuals. And skills, there's a couple of areas in your LinkedIn profile that allows you to actually focus on your skills. And we take an 80 to 20 approach on skill development within your LinkedIn profile. 80% industry related, and 20% more of the soft skills, the transferable skills that have been following you since you've been developing your career. So facts and stats, I'm not going to go over them all because you'll have access to them, but just a few things. Right now, the biggest demographic that's building on LinkedIn is actually students and recent graduates. I guess that's why LinkedIn has done a lot of development in the last couple of years. 48% hold a postgraduate degree. There's several job listings, over 3 million. And in all, there's over 467 million active users on LinkedIn. Some of them are more active than others, but there are 460 million. And in fact, there are 2 new members on LinkedIn per second. And if you look at Canada's ranking, it's the 4th biggest user of LinkedIn. Okay, so before we start, it might be a good idea to go to privacy settings, just because if you plan on building your LinkedIn profile, you don't want people to always get updates on what you're doing. I keep mine off all the time, and that's just because if I want to make a change, I don't want to have it go in people's news feed. I don't feel the need to advertise that. The only time I really feel a need to advertise that is when I get a new position. And that's because I want my network to know. So when I got the job at U of T, moving from John Molson School of Business, of course, I took that privacy setting off and I allowed everybody to know where I was and what position I took on. So this is how you find the privacy settings. This is the old user face, and you would find it under your avatar on the top right. And this is the new user face. If you don't have the new user face now, you will have the new user face because it's been gradually being released over the last few months, and it will continue to be released. But I would say 80% of the population have it and will have it. So I'll be basically using the LinkedIn user face, the new one. So instead of it being the old one, all of your privacy settings are under me, your avatar on the right, and then you'll see the arrow where it says privacy and settings. So click on privacy and settings. I think everybody should go through their privacy and settings on their own time because there are 3 areas where you can work on your privacy settings. But for today, and just so if you do decide to change anything or if you're building your profile, then it might be a good idea for 2 reasons. One, the second one, sharing profile edits. You can click on that and you can actually put no. And the other one is profile viewing options. So this means that if your profile isn't built, you may still want to research key people on LinkedIn and look at their profiles, but you may not want them to see you because your profile is not built and it's following you. So your profile is what they look at. And 90% of the people that look at somebody's profile, that person will go back and look at your profile. And if it's not built, it can take away from your credibility. The other arrow that I have on the top is edit your public profile. Everybody should go to the edit their public profile because that's where you can change your LinkedIn URL. And that's also where you can make sure that people see the sections of your profile. And keep in mind that if you are on the job, like if you are on job search or if you are looking for people to be finding you for those reasons, you may want to have all of your sections developed because even if it is not your resume, it has to be open in order for HR representatives to view it. And HR representatives may not be a connection for you, and they may never be a connection for you because they're using their own private profile. So they need to have access to that information. So make sure that your sections are open because in that respect, they are kind of viewing it like a resume. It's different, but they need to have that information to make a logical choice of whether they're going to contact you or whether they even could possibly interview you or get in touch with you or ask you to send your resume. So on this slide, it takes you right to your profile. Your profile is again under the Me section right on top. And I'm just going to show you a few areas that are really important. Up on top is where you can change anything in your demographics. Also, you'll see I have an arrow pointing at the first line of your LinkedIn profile. That's considered to be your tagline, and it's the very first part of the search algorithm. There are 4 parts of the search algorithm on LinkedIn. Every time you do not fill in one of those sections, it takes away from your ability to be searched, a percentage of your ability to be searched. The tagline is one of those. And you'll notice in my tagline that I do not have my title at U of T. I do not even have my title for my business. What I have is key words and a tagline that allows people to see my value. It's my UVP. It's my unique value proposition. It's my mini pitch. It's made up of key words. And it's so important to develop that. Maybe work on a Word document and write down some different possibilities so you can create a tagline. It's your career branding proposition. It's so important. So if you see mine, career specialist, coach, LinkedIn trainer, profile builder, there's a branding strategy, unlocking confidence. It tells people what I do. And then down further, where it starts my summary, the first 3 lines are the only lines that follow your profile now. And the reason LinkedIn did that is because they wanted you to concentrate on creating impact and value in your very first 3 lines. Then the body of the summary will actually have your specializations, what you bring to the table, anything that you want to add, but you're really speaking to your target audience. What are your goals and how do you want to reach out? But for the very first 3 lines of your summary, that is meant to create impact, value, and spark curiosity. So just to review, there's 4 parts of the algorithm, and I have them listed there: the headline, the summary, the skills section, and the experience section. And I also added the different number of characters. When LinkedIn gives you all of those characters, like the summary is 2,000 characters, that's an indicator to you just how important it is to fill it in. It does not have to be short. The 3 first lines, impact, and then you want people to actually hit the more button so they get to know your story. Here are some examples of some headlines that I helped. You saw the one on my profile. So the first one is the one that I have, and you'll see some different ones. Aspiring consumer marketer with a passion for strategy, promotions, and campaign management. Some people add a tagline. Some people just use keywords. Some people put in the fact that they're going for an MBA or their specialty or the year that they graduate, because if your target audience is an employer or a recruiter, those are the things they're going to search. So basically, when you're doing your headline and in your summary and in your skills section and in your experience section, all of those areas should have common words. Common words, because those words are going to be searchable words. Those words are going to bring people to your profile. So we have a few different headlines that you'll be able to take a look at. And I also posted a link to profile symbols. You'll notice on a lot of profile symbols, you can go to a profile to actually get some special characters to add to your LinkedIn profile. So if you click on that link, I'm not going to go there today, but it will take you to a friend of mine, Bryn Tillman. It'll take you there directly. And she has a complete list of symbols, arrows, lines, stars, all of the common ones for you to use. And it'll take you to hers, and hers is one of the best ones that I've ever seen. And that means if you want to add them to your headline or add them to your profile to break up or to make bullet points, this will help you to kind of have your profile stand out, because as of now, we cannot bold or do anything fancy like that on the LinkedIn profile. So having some of the symbols there will just help you to create something a little different. Okay, just going to go back. Sorry about that. So contact information and anchor links. So for your profile section, a lot of people don't put in their contact information, but you have to remember that not a lot of people are going to, well, some people are, but not a lot of people are going to carry on a conversation on LinkedIn. They're using the LinkedIn as a stepping stone so that they can reach out and contact you. So it is important to have a professional email address and phone number, cell phone number that they can contact you. You do not need your address because that's there for businesses, physical businesses, but anything else you should have there. The other thing is that there's the ability to put 3 websites, and those websites, what I want you to do is when you're creating the websites, go down with the arrow and go to other. It's very important because when you go to other, you will be able to create what they call anchor links. And anchor links will help you to connect with those 3 websites. So if you put in Athabasca University and you go to other and you put in the Athabasca University and the URL, anytime somebody does a search on Athabasca University, your profile will be associated with that and come up in the search results. So you want to make sure you can do 3. You have the ability to have 3 and they can be changed anytime. Might be through your program. It might be to Athabasca University. Maybe you're a volunteer somewhere. Maybe you have your own website. Just think of the 3 most important websites that you want to be connected to. Your URL, back a few slides ago, I asked you to go to your profile, your public profile, so that you could change it. This is how you change your profile. If your profile has, your URL has numbers at the end, that's for LinkedIn. It was always meant to be changed. If you go back to your profile, you'll be able to change it to your first and last name. If LinkedIn tells you that the name has already been used, change it up a bit. Put your last name first, put your initial first and your last name like I do. But you should be able to add both. Or if you have a middle name, like mine, it could put Shelley L. Eltsleger. You have quite a few characters to work with, but make sure your last name is in there because it helps for search results. Google and LinkedIn are best friends, and you'll notice that if your LinkedIn is done well and you have the information that you need, you will come up first on search results if somebody's searching you on Google. The experience section is the other part of the algorithm on LinkedIn. I'm not going to go too much into it, but it's really important to have, your title is really important. So again, put your title, you can even put it in capital letters, but if you have some other major things associated with your title, you could actually maybe put an arrow or do what I did and actually create some other keywords, because the experience section connects with your summary section. The experience section is going to be the closest section related to your resume. So there will be some of the details there that are similar, but again, LinkedIn gives you 2,000 characters. Somebody has to actually post on it, click more to see, except for the first one. But internally, everything that you mark down within the experience helps to create a search algorithm for you. So it's really important. You might want to, if you have an experience from a company that I may not know a lot about, or if it was in another country, you can actually write a little bit about that company and the kudos that they have. You can talk about any software that you've developed on your job. You can talk about all of the skills that you've developed and any recognitions that you've received. So you have quite a big space, And you might even want to attach not only the link to the company, because they have a company page. When they have a company page, it actually shows up on your profile if you connect it by putting in where you're working. That will help connect you. You have to find it, but it will help you to connect to that company or to the education section. But the education section is not part of the algorithm, but it works in the same way, and it's also for credibility. So you can also connect the link, because the link of the company, you can connect the link down at the bottom when it asks you to connect any visuals. And visuals are really important. And I think you can have up to 10 at this point, 10 different visuals, and you can change them anytime. So the skills section is the last section of the algorithm. In the older LinkedIn profile, you would be able to see the top 10. The top 10 is still very important, but for the new user face, it's the top 3 that's the most important. So make sure that you are rearranging, and to make sure that you have the top 3 that you would want to be endorsed for, and the top 3 that are part of your career branding statement. Okay, so the top 3. If you look at mine, I have coaching, LinkedIn, and training. They can be changed at any time. If you hit add a new skill, it will bring you down to all of the skills that you have, and you'll be able to just simply drag and paste them to another order. You should be doing this on a regular basis, because you may want people to endorse you for other skills if you want to build on those skills. Once you hit 99, that means you're an expert in that particular skill. But it takes a long time to get there, but they have to be visible. And the more people get to know you once you're out in the career world, people will endorse you. And it doesn't even hurt to ask people to endorse you, and you endorse them back. It's the whole human idea of give and take. But it's really important to be kind on LinkedIn. I'm kind to people every day. It's the first thing that I do in the morning, is to make sure I'm doing something for somebody in my network. It also helps to get my visibility out there when I'm good to people in my network. So that can be like, share, that can be a comment, that can be giving somebody an endorsement. So there's lots of ways to give back to your network, and LinkedIn was built that way. So you have 50 skills. I would not put all 50, because if you ever have a new skill, you would have to get rid of a skill, and then you would have to get rid of all of your endorsements too. But I would say at this point, as you're going through, you want to make sure that before you graduate, you have at least 25 skills. So I would start with 25 skills. Again, take the 80-20 approach. 80% based on your industry. You do not have to be perfect in a skill in order to put it there, but you have to have a knowledge of it. You have to have a usability connected to it. You have to be familiar with it, and you have to be able to use it. So it doesn't mean perfection, because they know that either you're a student or alumni. They know I'm a professional. It's based on my profile and what would be expected at my level. But you definitely want anything that you're working on to be reflective, and anything that could be searched to be reflective in your skill area. Farid?
Yeah, is the slide moving? No way.
It's back to go to webinar.
Okay, hold on. Sometimes you have these technical issues that is out of control, but let me see what I can do. Hold on. Sorry about that. Okay, let's see now. Shelley, you should be able to see it?
Yeah, I got it back.
Okay, good.
Do I have permission?
Okay, try again now, please. There we go.
Okay, perfect. And I just wanted to attach this little skills directory. In fact, a lot of people don't know about this. There's actually a link to go to see all of the skills from A to Z that has been searched on LinkedIn. So it's a great little tool to kind of give you an idea of what you may want to put down for your own skills. but you have to go directly to the link. So the link is there and it'll take you to the skills page. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about search.
Hold on, Shelley, give me 1 minute. I think the screen just kind of
Yeah, the screen
went
just
away.
Technology is great, but
Yeah, when it works, right? So
when it works, but we'll get it back.
we'll get it back. Hold on. Okay.
Okay, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about search because it's changed a little bit. Well, not a little bit, actually quite a lot. But there are more features that have been added recently, so people were kind of like getting excited for nothing. But I just wanted to talk about the search a little bit so that when you go to the top, you no longer see advanced search, which is something that used to be on the old user face. You just see a blank now, and with a little magnifying glass. So you can search by hitting the magnifying glass, and if you hit the magnifying glass, it will take you to this slide here. And this is where you can search, filter people by first-degree connections, second-degree connections, or third-degree connections. So you still have that ability to actually do that. And the way that it used to work before, it used to work with a Boolean search. So if you really want to find something specific, so you can filter your networks by doing this, and you have a few possibilities. With the free account, you're a little bit limited compared to before, but you can still do quite a bit. You just have to go down. And there's also a filter on the bottom. So if you go right down to the bottom of the page, you'll see filter. You can press on that. It'll allow you to filter. You can hit on the magnifying glass. And okay, I need to move ahead. For it, it's back. Okay, here we go. So this is a cool little, I guess, demonstration of what you would need to actually do a more specific search. So you can search by first name, last name, title, company, and school. And there's an example on the bottom. You keep everything small letters, except for the Boolean search letters like not and or. But other than that, and if you were looking for Athabasca University, you would put those in quotation marks if there's more than one word. If there's only one word, like a last name or a first name, then you just have to have title, and then just like it is there, and then you can put the word that you're using. So this is a handy little search support, and I print it out, I kind of do it, and after you're doing it for a while, it'll come naturally to you for you to use and to do the search. So it's a little bit different. It's kind of not the same as a Boolean search from before, but actually taking in the new search, but you can do almost the same thing. It's just kind of following these basic suggestions, and that's going to allow you to search and be productive on your searches. And just remember, there is a limit on how many searches you can do per month. So LinkedIn will never tell you how many. They won't tell me either. But at one point, if you're just idly searching without being conscientious of how much you search, it would be a good idea to really, I mean, you get quite a few, but some people really, especially business people, they're always constantly searching. And what'll happen is that LinkedIn won't allow you to do any more searches. But on the first of the month, you will get that service back again. So all I'm trying to say here is that just don't use it so that you look like you're a business, because they will say, okay, you should be on Sales Navigator, you should be paying more money, you should be, so they're, because it's all internal, right? So just be mindful. But I mean, you can still do quite a few searches. I have never had that, and I mean, I train all the time, I do a lot of searches, but it will come back. A friend of mine just yesterday said, oh, you were doing a little too many, and she will have to wait until the beginning of the month to get that access back again. So just be mindful. Having some issues?
Shelley, can you hear me?
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
having
just give a few minutes because there's a bit of a lag I noticed. So now you guys should see the business consultant page. Is that
No,
what you're
now
seeing
I'm
there?
connected to go to webinar.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to present. I'm going to take over the mouse, and you just tell me when to click to the next screen, okay? Because I think there's some technical issues going on here.
Okay, but I can't see where you are. I can't see
Okay.
where you are.
Okay, give me 1 minute. Here we go. How about now?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, can you just go back?
Yep.
Back.
One more. Yep. Here we go.
Okay, back one more. Okay, so go ahead one. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't missing something. Okay, so just use that handy little guide for search results. The next thing I'm going to talk about is job searching. So there on your dashboard up on top, there's a place to go for jobs. And again, you can use keywords. Just think of how you would be doing like Google, how you would be going with Google. And after you build your profile, the more you build your profile, LinkedIn gives you a lot of gifts actually. So the more you build your profile, the more it will indicate to LinkedIn what you're interested in, and they will start to give you actual positions that'll show up on your main page when you hit jobs. So I did a little bit of a search. So I wanted to find out what was in Edmonton, and I came up with business consultant from TELUS. And companies can either hire LinkedIn to be a manager or to be, I guess, a connector. So if they hire LinkedIn to be a connector, this is what you'll see. Apply on company website. So what happens is why they do that is they don't want to lose their marketing. They don't want to lose the way they do recruitment. However, they want all the benefits from LinkedIn. So this gives them the best of both worlds. So what you can do, you can save this job in case you're on your phone because there's a LinkedIn mobile app and they're connected. You can save everything and go back later. You can get the job description, and to let you know about the job description, LinkedIn has the best job description. So if you ever come across a job description on your university portal or on Indeed or one of the job search websites that's available out there, I would always go back to LinkedIn because LinkedIn will not allow an employer to post a job without them being complete. They have a form that they have to fill in. It has to be complete. They have to give a certain amount of information, and if they don't give that information, then LinkedIn will not allow them to post. So you can find out a lot of information. So you'll see this one. So TELUS is actually hiring LinkedIn to be a connector. Let's go to the next slide.
Okay.
But on the other hand, Kraft uses LinkedIn. They like the whole idea of making it easy. They like LinkedIn to take care of all of the work. So you'll see brand manager, coffee strategy and scale. They're looking for an MBA, and they've hired LinkedIn to be a manager. So that's why you can apply directly through LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is going to do all the management of all of the job entries, the applications, and then they're going to give it to who's ever handling that portfolio. In this case, the person handling the portfolio is Ellie Kayashin, And this is really most important, something for you to keep in mind, because everything that you do document-wise, you should be putting her name in and her job title. So what I would do is I would actually go to her profile, I would find out her exact job title, I would put that on my cover letter. And it also tells me that I have she's a second connection of mine. So that means that I have somebody who could introduce us. And I might even want to go take that approach too, especially if it's somebody I know well. Not if it's somebody I don't know well, but if it's somebody I know well, maybe I want them to make an introduction. Maybe they know her well enough to kind of even have some information that could be really good for me. So just take that in mind. 90% of the employers or recruiters always have their name on LinkedIn. That's the beauty of being on LinkedIn. So if I hit in easy apply, this takes me to, for it,
Yeah.
next one.
Okay.
This takes me to this reminder. This is a reminder window. It tells me that before I apply to the company, I should I should have everything perfect, I should be ready to go, and before I submit my application, I should go through the techniques. So it's asking me, is your profile built? Is it marketable? Is it brand worthy? So I have a chance. If I haven't done that, make sure my profile is built. Make sure the employer can go there, because that's the first thing they're going to get. They are using InApply because they want to use the profile as the main indicator, the main trigger of whether they want to go further or not. Is this your email? Do you have the proper phone number? If not, you can change them for this application only. You can upload one PDF, cover letter, and a one-page resume, one-page cover letter. You can update it in a PDF file, and you can put it right there. I always put it in, because if it's there, then that means that it might come in, might have something to do, it might be something extra that they can look at. So really important. The last thing is that if you're not following the company, LinkedIn will follow the company for you. And that's about it. And then when you're all ready, you just submit application, and there you go. They have everything that they need, and you can feel comfortable with your application because you've done everything that they want you to do. Okay, Farid?
Great. Yeah, thank you so much, Shelley. So that is so this is a last great quote. So this is when we have question and answer period. So if you have any questions for Shelley, this is a great time to ask them. And again, I have a few remarks here to say whether this presentation is available. It will be available after this presentation. As a matter of fact, you can also download this presentation right now under the handout section. If you go under handouts, there's a PDF of this presentation that you can download immediately. If not, we'll send a copy of this presentation as well as the recording in a separate email. So if you need the handouts right now, it's right there in the section on your screen. Okay, so now we are going to get some questions here. Okay, here's a great question from Anita. How do you add MBA or other designations after your name?
So when you put MBA and other abbreviations after your name, put your name, but don't put any comma. Put a space and then MBA space and the next one. It's better to not have commas, and then you can just
great.
put them in the main area where your name is.
Okay, wonderful. You're welcome, Pascal. Next question is from Gustavo. Any feedback, advice for people using LinkedIn for business development and sales purposes?
Well, that's a completely different workshop because you utilize it a little bit differently.
All right. And Gustavo, you can get hold of Shelley through her LinkedIn profile. Here's a question from VJ. How do you use your professor's LinkedIn contacts to your advantage?
Your professor's LinkedIn contacts?
Yes.
Well, I think that you really have to be careful of when you're when you're looking at somebody else's contacts. There should be a reason why you connect with somebody, either because you've met them, or because somebody has introduced you, or because there would be a reason to connect. So I think that if your professor has somebody you'd like to meet, I think you would ask your professor to make an introduction.
Okay, great. Here's a question from Michael. Please comment on all of the negative changes to LinkedIn as a result of the Microsoft purchase of the company. I know they have done some updates, right, Shelley?
Well, I don't see any. I don't really see that merger has made any difference with LinkedIn. The reasons for the different user face and all of that, that's been planned for years, even before Microsoft took it over. Microsoft at the moment is just allowing LinkedIn to do their thing. Any changes is coming directly from LinkedIn, the company, and they're basing those changes on what they really want LinkedIn to be. They want it to be more of an interactive tool and a networking tool. And what they were seeing before is that people were not basing it on impact and thinking about what they were putting on LinkedIn as opposed to just filling it all in. And now we have to be smarter than that. We have to create a place where people want to go to LinkedIn. So what you see the changes, I don't see any negative changes with regards to the merger. I think some people will struggle a little bit with the new user face, but that LinkedIn is going to continue to change things on a yearly basis. We just have to kind of ride with it and embrace it.
Okay, great. Here's another question from Tim. How do I get better analytics from my posts?
So when you go to the analytics, and that I didn't really have enough time to go to that because it's something I usually do with businesses. But if you see that people are not you're not getting a lot from your analytics, then that means that you're not really writing in a way that's going to get traction, and people are not going to your posts. Your posts, it's really important that titles are so important. The visuals that you use and how you speak on Pulse. It takes a little while to get used to it. I work with a lot of clients who don't know how to post. And if you want more people, you have to change it up. When I started to write on Pulse, I wrote in one way, and then I kind of took a look at it, and then I realized that's not what people are actually looking at. It's not gravitating to them. So I changed my approach, I changed my wording, I changed my titles, and I try to put something that's going to really resonate with people, touch people. So it's really, really important to get away and to kind of have a consistency with posts. If you're only posting once every 6 months, LinkedIn is not going to see you as a valuable user, or as a valuable person on LinkedIn, because you're not on there a lot, so your posts will not get out to your population. The other thing is that once you write a post, you can actually, in a couple of days, like 1 or 2 days, you could actually make a little post in your news feed and again put the link to your post to get more traction.
Great. Thank you. Give me 1 minute here. So the next question is, what can I do if I have several job titles in my current position? So I think you had suggested, Shelley, that you do like what you do, right? You have all your job titles, you can break it up by using the symbols. Or do you have any other suggestions?
So in your title, you can just put your title, but what you could do in the body of of that particular job is that you could break it up into sections. So for example, I could take my job and I could break it up into relationship building, I could break it up into LinkedIn training, I could break it up into career coaching, and then write, because you have 2,000 characters, so you can manage to put it up right under that experience section. Break it up.
Yeah, so yeah, I just put up on the screen. You can see Shelley's live LinkedIn profile. Thank you. Yeah, so there's another question here about places of placement on the internet, on the profile. How can you set up your profile to show two concurrent places of employment? That is, I have a full-time job and I also own a business, and I do both concurrently.
So you just have to put it in as another experience. You just have to add it. There's a plus sign when you're in your experience section. You just have to add it. It's going to come up underneath. LinkedIn only shows one job for now, so it's only going to show one job that follows you, but when somebody clicks on it, they can see all of your jobs. And you can have two concurrent jobs. I have two concurrent jobs. You'll see my relationship managers first, and then my LinkedIn guest author, lead Rotman Commerce, and then president and founder of Linked Express. They're all what I'm doing now. So it's not a problem to put more than one. It's just that LinkedIn is only going to make one visible.
Yes. Okay, great. So the next question is, because we're coming close to time, I'm just going to see whether you can group some of these questions together. As a job seeker, here's a good one. As a job seeker, are there any of the premium services worth subscribing to? So basically subscribing to the premium account.
So premium searches gives you a few more options, like InMail. It gives you the ability to have unlimited searches, but you have to be pretty active. Like, it's not worth it if you're not going to be using the tool as a tool in your toolkit. So the premium services and the other ones were really made for people that were, because LinkedIn was originally made for professionals with 3 to 5 years experience, and now it's come down, and so it's made for new grads and students. But what we notice is that students and new grads normally are not active on a daily basis and really reaching out. And so it depends on how you're going to use it. If you want those extra features, then you have no choice but to have a premium account. Are they necessary? I don't think they're necessarily necessary unless you have built your profile and you know that your unique value proposition can be sold, and you are going to be the one who's going to be actively searching out opportunities as opposed to those opportunities coming to you.
Okay, great. So here's a couple of questions on netiquette, Shelley. So one of the questions is, sometimes I notice that someone has viewed or reviewed my profile. What is the protocol for contacting them if they are not your contact?
So okay.
Go ahead.
So you should never start by saying, I see that you viewed my profile. You should never start it like that. That's really bad etiquette. What you can do is just, if that's somebody that you'd like to connect with, then what I would do is I would just write that person a note. I see that you are involved in this, this, and this, or I see that we have some things in common, or I see that you're an Athabasca student, and it would be really great to build our network. So in other words, it doesn't look like they viewed your profile and now you're coming back at them. They don't have to know that that's the reason, because you may have popped up. LinkedIn may have even said somebody you might have known. So that's what I would do. If it was somebody I want to connect with, I would find out why I want to connect with them. Still, there should be a reason, because they could be just viewing your profile and for some other reason, but find out what is your reason, and then you take the approach.
Well, yeah, so this is a great follow-up to that. Is it a good idea to accept connection requests from people you don't know?
Yes, I think that it is, but you have to know why. Again, so not everybody knows the etiquette around LinkedIn. Not everybody is going to send a message, but you all who are on my LinkedIn webinar today should go, if there's one thing you should go away with, is that everybody deserves a message. Everybody deserves that extra 30 seconds. Sometimes I don't connect with people because they don't send me a message. So do you need to accept everybody? No. And they don't get a message that you don't accept them. My idea around accepting people is simple. I go quality over quantity. If somebody does not have over 50 connections, I do not accept them. Because those first 50 connections, you need to be an entity on LinkedIn. If you don't have 50 connections, you're not an entity. And your 50 connections should be built with people that you know, not people you don't know. They should be close people. Once you get over the 50 mark, you're now in the networking component of LinkedIn. So I always look to see if it's somebody I don't know. They have to have 50 connections. I always like them to have a picture, because you don't network with a bag on your head. You don't network being unseen. You network because you're seen. It's a networking site. So I really like a picture, and I like to be able to find out what's on their profile. So if I can't get a lot of information and understand why they would want to connect with me, then I tend not to accept them. However, LinkedIn also has a button now. If somebody wants to connect with you, you'll see reply to on the bottom. You can reply to that person and ask, say, I see that you sent me a connection request, and I was just wondering, have we met before? Or is there a reason that you would like to connect? Because I don't remember meeting you, and it would just be nice to know a little bit more about you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially now too, Shelley, on the mobile, right? I mean, it's so easy to send invitations without having to write that note first. I've
So on
noticed
your
that.
mobile, there's no reason why you should be connecting without personalizing it. The personalization is the three dots that you need to find on your iPhone and on your other phone, your Samsung or your smartphone. There are three dots. So before you do connect, don't hit connect. Go to your right, find the three dots, and when you hit the three dots, it's going to allow you to customize. It'll ask you to customize your connection request. So
Mm-hmm.
there's no reason why people just get trigger friendly, trigger happy. So there's no
That's right.
reason why you don't customize all of your connection requests.
Okay. Great. So we have about 4 minutes left. I have a few more questions here. I just want to. So here's a question about market intelligence again on companies and special group discussions. What is considered successful um, in terms of connections and how many followers? I think you've mentioned that, Shelley, right? You need to have at least 50. That
No,
is
there's a
close
difference
to.
between followers and connections. So
Okay.
followers, people can follow, you can follow anybody. You can follow Oprah Winfrey if you want. She's on there. Um, Connections are the people that actually invite you or you invite them and you accept on either end. But you have more followers because if you people follow my blogs that I write on LinkedIn, but they may not be a connection. So five, you should go. There's kind of like a upward scale. 50, you need 50 just to be an entity, but your end goal is to have 500 connections. But that takes time. So you should go 0, 50, 250, and then 500. And after 500, LinkedIn will stop counting on your, well, now they don't even, they'll show 500 plus, but they'll still count the more connections you have. But again, it's still quality over quantity.
Hmm. Great. And here's a great suggestion from Naveed. Yeah, is it possible for you to provide LinkedIn demo videos? So I guess, Shelley, that could be something that you can do on your blog. You can do like a little video demos, I guess, on LinkedIn.
Well, when I have time and I don't have, when I have time, that's the next thing. For now, it's a lot
Okay.
of presentations. I do a lot of corporate, I do a lot of group presentations. I still like doing presentations, and I also do a lot of webinars for different
Mhm.
universities. And so maybe I'll do some demos, but it's a little ways to go there for now.
Okay. I have one last question here from VJ. So VJ's professor is suggesting to connect with her on LinkedIn and use her network as a source of, I guess, connection. So I guess in VJ's case, um, to use his professor's LinkedIn network, I guess you have to do an introduction before connecting. That would be the proper way to do, correct?
That's the proper way to do it. So
Yeah.
you'll see, she can make an introduction. Hmm.
So yeah, so the professor herself can make the introduction to
Yes.
VJ, and VJ in the same return can also introduce himself to the person that he wants to connect through the professor's
Well, once the
network.
professor makes the introduction,
Yeah,
he can take it upon himself to be the one that will be the first to reach out to that person.
perfect. Wow, with that, we've come to the hour. This is wonderful, right on time. So thank you so much, Shelley, for your time and your energy and your great insights on LinkedIn. I hope this webinar was beneficial to everybody who's listening in. And before we end, oh, you're welcome, Daniel. Before we end, there's a survey at the end of this webinar that if you could take time to complete the survey, that would be great, because that would be helpful for me to prepare and get more interesting topics for you guys for the next round of webinars. So thanks again to Shelley. Thanks everybody for tuning in. You will get this copy of this presentation either tomorrow or the day after, a copy of his presentation. And with that, thank you so much. Have a great day. And those of you who are tuning in the Northeast Toronto area or somewhere in the East Coast of the US, stay warm. I know there's a bunch of snow coming down your way, so stay warm and stay safe. Thanks, Shelley. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Happy LinkedIn building.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye.